What's going on, everybody? You are tuned into North Shore 9 presented by FanDuel. I'm Jim. With me is Doug. Doug, welcome to Bucco Brew,
My
powered by
first
DeFair Coffee
time.
and Tea. Your first time on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's too early. It's too early.
it's it is early. It's Monday morning. It's the off season. Doug, did you have a good weekend?
I absolutely had a great weekend. Um, it was a beautiful weather here. Alabama lost. That was always fun. So, yeah, good times.
That is true. Alabama did lose. Um, yeah, yeah. I guess you're not an Alabama fan.
Not at all. Not since I'm a Penn State guy. Not since I think it was the '78 Sugar Bowl,
Okay.
where
All
the
right.
goal line stand, one of the famous. Penn State has fourth and one or first and one at the goal and cannot get it in. So yeah,
Um, 1991 Fiesta Bowl too,
yeah,
Doug.
yeah.
Louisville
It's
over Louisville over Alabama. Just
it's
I had to squeeze the Louisville one in there right there too.
hey, I I mean, as much as I dislike Alabama, it's always good. It's a good win to beat them. It's always a memorable, you
Yeah.
know. Uh, uh,
But no, you're here filling in for Gennardo. So I
no, no,
appreciate you.
no. Yeah.
I appreciate you being on here. Got some stuff to talk about today. So, I mean, just some quick hitters before we get into the meat and potatoes of the program, because I think we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about the upcoming deadline to add players to the roster. That's coming up tomorrow. But before we get there, I mean, there was some things that happened over the weekend. First off, I mean, we're talking about college football, so like college game day. College game day was in Pittsburgh this week. I don't know if you caught any of that, Doug,
I
but
did catch a little.
I don't know if you kind of. But the Pirates did have a little appearance there, a few front and center moments. Not only was there a plane circling the festivities, urging Bob Nutting to sell the team. But Pat McAfee, who's a Pittsburgh area native, he's on College Game Day. He kind of went into a big rant and soliloquy about how got the best pitcher in the world. Fans are upset, need to do something to help out. So it was fun to see a little Pirate shout out on College Game Day.
Yeah, I love seeing Kurt Herbstreit rattle off the starting lineup of the '79 team. I don't know if he prepped that beforehand, but
Hmm.
it sounded like he knew what he was talking about. It was kind of fun.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
Bob Nutting should be embarrassed, right? I mean, Pat McAfee's right. We're all right. You've got the best pitcher in the world. You should be pushing all your chips in instead of business as usual. So yeah, let's get a little national embarrassment, maybe not just local. So good.
Yeah.
It was great. I'm glad it happened. It was fun. It was funny, and Bob deserves everything he gets at this point.
I mean, as soon as the Pirates were even brought up, it was just immediate sell the team chance
Yeah,
from the
exactly. There's
crowd.
a bunch of college football fans, right? And I mean, again, you expect most of that audience to be college kids, right? It's not a bunch of guys our age that have, or my age and your age, separate ages that have, suffered through the Pirates for lo these many years. And it was just almost instinctual. They bring
Yep.
up the Pirates and boom, sell the team. Where forget about the pick game, forget about Notre Dame. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed seeing that.
Yeah. On top of that, I said a lot of stuff this weekend. Friday, the Pirates announced the day after Paul Skeens wins the Cy Young that we're gonna have another Paul Skeens bobblehead next year, Doug.
Yeah,
April
and
April 18th.
18th.
Not only does this bobblehead have legs on it, it's a full-bodied bobblehead. But on top of that, the whole, debacle last year with the bobblehead seems like they kind
Right.
of learned, right?
They learned
The,
a
the
lesson.
the thing that I noticed most about this announcement was that, hey, like if you've got a ticket to the game on April 18th, you're going home with a Paul Skeens
You
bobblehead.
get the bobblehead. Yeah, I mean that's good. I guess. I wish that the Pirates were this proactive or even reactive to other type things. Like the bobblehead's nice. You know my thoughts. We should. That's when we should have the NS9 tailgate a little earlier than we normally do. But you get the Paul Skeens bobblehead, and the Pirates are still in it on April 18th, even mathematically. So. Um, there could be hope. It could be, it could be a fun environment where I think we should be there. So
Yeah.
I want
No,
to.
so yeah,
I want.
I thought the
Yeah,
I thought the coolest piece of this was like, yeah, like before the whole bobblehead situation. I'm a bobblehead collector. You can see above my head there. I've got some. I've got some right there. But
I've got some
what
too. Yeah.
yeah, so both of us. I think what I dislike the most from the other bobbleheads they've done is, they've done it like, hey, the first 20,000 get one, the first 25,000 get one, and then if it's a big one like this one, if you wanted to be one of the first 25,000 people in the ballpark, you'd have to show up like 2 hours early,
Right.
at least, maybe even three. And it's like, why do that to people?
Yeah.
Like, just if they're going to the game, you get a bobblehead.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It never really bothered me. Yeah, you hear it from when you listen to other teams. It's the first 20,000 a lot. I mean, it's a nice thing. And again, again, they're finally seem to be acknowledging that Paul Skeens is special, right? This is not your average Joe.
Yep.
I do know that a couple years ago I went to a Cincinnati Reds game and they were giving away a Joey Votto Star Wars bobblehead,
Okay.
and I mean, sold out. I waltzed up. There was no 2-hour waiting line. They just handed me my bobblehead. I went. I don't know how they handled it so much smoother or better, but everything's difficult with the Pirates. So, but I mean, again, it does show. I mean, to me, this is almost the first time in the Bob Nutting tenure that they've actually considered the fans. Travis Williams recently said that, the Pirates are fans first. And, we all know that it's not necessarily been true for
Hmm.
most of our experience. But, it's a slight positive. Again, I wish when dealing with the roster, they were like, you had learned the kind of lesson. But hey, it's progress, it's progress.
It's definitely progress. So yeah, that was nice to see on Friday. Let's see what else. What else happened? Oh, Nick Gonzalez got elected.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not elected, inducted into the Cape Cod League Baseball Hall of Fame, Doug. Now, Nick Gonzalez, if you're not aware, uh, the 2019 Cape Cod League MVP, where he put up an OPS of 1,081 in his 42 games there. So
I
yeah,
think he
nice
won the
little.
batting title too. I think he hit like
Yeah,
361 or
hit
something. Yeah,
hit
yeah.
351, 450. Yeah, I mean, he just absolutely killed the ball up there. And that's the reason ultimately that he got drafted so high,
Right.
because that next year didn't really do much in college because of COVID.
There was a
So
COVID
like
season, yeah.
that Cape Cod performance kind of put him, squarely into that top 10. But yeah, I thought cool moment, cool accolade for Nick Gonzalez there.
That's a
Well earned.
great league. I know
Yeah.
most people don't really, but I lived up in Boston for 9 years, and the Cape Cod, it's just filled with history, and great players have come through there, and the people just embrace it. The kids live with the townspeople, stay at their houses, that sort of thing. It's a lot of fun. So i- if you know how much it means to the people up there, and how much I think the players really enjoy participating. That's a really cool thing for Nick. Good for him.
Yeah, I went to so Cape Cod League I've done once before, and it's hard to explain it because it's very intimate. I mean, it
Yeah.
sort of reminds you like you're going to a high school baseball game.
Yeah, it's like a high school
I
baseball
mean,
game. Yeah.
that's sort of what it's like, but the
With
players on the
wooden bats.
field,
Yeah.
yeah, it's wooden bats. Like the stands are it's very high school. Like it's like legit bleachers.
Bleachers. Yeah.
You go to the concession stand and it's like a shed that's behind home plate. Like it's got a pretty cool feel to it. So Yeah, it's something where if you're a baseball fan, I highly recommend doing Cape Cod
Yeah,
at
it's a
least like one
fun
time.
experience, and yeah,
Yeah.
you're seeing mostly college kids, highly, sort of rated college kids, really wanting to show what they can do with the wooden bat and show what they can do against better competition, and yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah, yeah, little league. I mean, or high school. It's almost like a little league. You're sitting around, and everybody. It's just a cool, chill vibe. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're going to see future first round picks if you go there. Like
Yeah.
that's just kind of how it is. And then lastly, before we kind of get into like the main topic here, Cam Devaney was announced yesterday. Colin Beasley, I guess, got the scoop on it. He is going to be signing a contract and pursuing an opportunity overseas. So yeah, Cam Devaney. It hasn't been official yet, so but that does mean he's going to be released by the Pirates. He's signing with the Hanshin Tigers. Doug, the Hanshin Tigers. He's 28 years old. He debuted for the Pirates in I guess it was in August this past year. Didn't really seem too impressed with him. After he did debut, I guess his calling card is he is pretty decent defensively, but even that was a little shaky after he got the debut. I think this is just an instance where he's pursuing a better opportunity because right now it doesn't look like this guy has many future plans with the Pirates.
Right. Yeah, it's funny the arc of a pirate acquisition, especially sometimes these middle infielders, right? We traded for them. It didn't move the buzz meter at all, but whatever, we got them, and then they didn't bring them up when they clearly needed to add somebody or do something. But yeah, they brought him up. They didn't play him much. He sure didn't look like he could hit. I mean, he was just strikeout after strikeout after strikeout. Like you said, he wasn't as good defensively as he'd been advertised. And I mean, actually, I'm glad. I don't know if it's him, moving this forward or them, but get him off the 40-man roster. I don't want to see him getting 200 at bats over the next, each season over the next 3 years. I think we got the answer on Cam Devaney. Good for him. Go make some money. Go experience the overseas life there for a while. Like I said, I'm glad that we're not Anthony Alford and we just keep trying and keep trying. It's like, no, he can't play. Uh, good luck, Godspeed, and let's move on to the next guy. Hopefully, get someone that can help. Both offensively and defensively.
Yep. He I mean it was 38 plate appearances, but he hit 139, Doug. He
Mm.
slugged 167. He had a -5 weighted runs created plus and a -0.4 WAR. So he really just
Fit
and he
right
struck
in.
out 55% of the time. Like it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just it was very ugly. It was very
yeah.
ugly.
It was bad. He looked incapable, right? There's times like, oh, he looks like he could do it. It's just going to take him a little bit. No, he did not look like he could play.
Yeah. But yeah, those are kind of the little things I wanted to make sure that we just touched on. But let's kind of get into the meat of this program, Doug. Before we do, I do need to tell you about our sponsors at the Fair Coffee and Tea. Again, Donardo usually has the ad read here, so I don't have the ad read. I asked him for it last night, and he never responded, so he's just off the grid. But I'm gonna go ahead and just say, it's if you haven't been to the fair yet, give it a shot. They've got multiple locations across the city. It's a locally owned business. It's a family owned company. If you haven't been to their flagship store in the strip, also just the vibes are immaculate there. Like I said, if you're a coffee drinker, they got what you need. If you're not a coffee drinker, they also have plenty of other non-coffee options like tea and really anything you can think of. They've got food there, like pastries, breakfast items, breakfast sandwiches. So yeah, it's a great place. I highly recommend it. If you're not in Pittsburgh, or even if you are in Pittsburgh and you want coffee at home, go online to defair.coffee. use promo code NS930, NS930, and that's going to get you 30% off your first order online. So I know they've just released a few new flavors for the winter, Doug. So if you want to try those out, NS930 at thefair.coffee. Yeah, check them out.
Yeah, I have a good friend that's going up to Pittsburgh in a week or so from Savannah, Georgia, and I've got him going right to the Fair Coffee. So
Love it.
he's looking forward to going.
Love it. All right, so let's get into this. The Pirates need to protect some guys from the Rule 5 draft. Doug, you just mentioned with the Cam Devaney leaving, it's going to open up a 40-man spot. They need to add guys to the 40-man roster by tomorrow. Tuesday is the deadline. I want to say it's Tuesday at 6 p.m. I probably should have known this, but Rule 5, November 18th. It is Tuesday at 6 p.m. Yep. So by 6 p.m. tomorrow, if you are not added to the 40-man roster, you will be exposed to the Rule 5 draft. So what that means is the Pirates have some decisions to make. Talking to some people, it sounds like there's a couple that are sort of like hey, this guy's obviously getting added. But then there's a few that are sort of on the fence here. So what I'm going to do, Doug, is I'm going to bring this up. And these are going to be all the people who are eligible, who are Rule 5 eligible right now. And we're going to go through this list and we're going to decide who are we going to protect from the Rule 5 draft. So
the Rule 5 draft is another interesting evolution. In the early tenure of Ben Cherington, it was, not so much who we were going to protect. Well, there was a few questions about this, like who are we going to pick? Who are we going to select? And it doesn't seem like that, is now on the table. It's just who are we going to protect? So
yeah,
it'll be interesting.
So I put out this on I guess I would have put this out last week, but on Twitter, really just asking, hey, like who would you protect from the Rule 5 draft? This is the list of guys. Shout out Ethan. This is from his Patreon MLB spreadsheets. But yeah, I mean you can see on here all the players who are going to be eligible. The list on the right is definitely the largest list. Those are the people who are newly eligible. But the guys I'm going with, Doug, I'm protecting Brandon Bidwell, who was exposed last year but wasn't picked, and it's kind of easy to tell he hadn't gotten above high A ball. But I'm protecting Brandon Bidwell after the season that he had. He won minor league reliever of the year. Went through that crazy stretch where it was 50 plus batters that didn't get a hit off of him. Just outrageous stuff. So I'm protecting him because I mean, just a lockdown dominant reliever like that, I feel like if you expose him, he's good as gone.
For sure. Those are the guys that get picked. Those are the guys that get selected. You can roster that guy for a season, right?
And I feel like just there's pretty much a good consensus on Brandon Bidwell that he's going to be added. He's one of the guys on this list where like I would be really surprised if they don't add him.
Yeah, me too.
The other one that I feel like is like a lock is Esmeralda Valdez. The screen kind of cuts him off there at the bottom, but he's down there. There's just absolutely no chance Valdez is left off this 40-man roster.
I agree, but he would be it would be hard to select him. Yeah, you'd have to be a team that's really in the tank because finding at bats for him would be tough. Holding that roster spot all year, he's not a great defender. He it's probably going to take him a while before he's ready for MLB. I don't think he's MLB ready yet. I mean, he had a great showing. He had a nice season and a great showing at the Arizona Fall League. And, we would be outraged if the Pirates let him slip away like this. But So yeah, I think they have to protect him, but it would be really interesting to me to see who would select him, and would they be able to roster him the whole season? But a
Yeah.
team like Colorado Rockies certainly could, right? There. I mean, somebody, because he does
Mhm.
have some. There's some talent there. He's got great exit velo. Uh, he's
It's your
got, he's
favorite, Doug, yeah.
yeah. um, but no, I mean, he definitely looks like he could be a good offensive player, and somebody would probably take a flyer on him. It'd be limited to a few teams, but it'd be hard for some of those teams to pass him up.
Yeah, I'm with you there. He doesn't really have the profile of a guy that I think teams would that wouldn't have, like, a super wide net of teams looking to add him. I just he's too talented to just let go though and expose in this because there is always the chance. Like if you let him expose, like someone can just go in and grab him. And the Pirates, especially with the lack of offense that they have, especially in the higher levels of the minors, like they just can't afford to do that.
Right.
Like they simply can't afford to even give someone the opportunity to take this guy.
They can't have another sort of PR fiasco, type
Oh,
thing. Like I said, you
imagine if
know,
Valdez got picked in the Rule 5 draft.
right, right. I mean, it's like, oh God, you haven't been able to find any hitters. You haven't been able to find any international league players whatsoever. You finally develop one, the one that just won the Arizona Fall League Player of the Year, that sort of thing. And because you don't know what you're doing, you left him exposed to the Rule 5 draft, and he got picked by the Athletics or something. And knowing the way that they've been turning out some offensive players, he's going to hit 250 with an 800 OPS for the A's, while the Pirates continue to lose 1-0 Paul Skeens starts.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you just you can't do it. Like you can't leave him exposed. I mean, it's plain and simple. Like it just can't you can't do it.
Yeah, they can't. They couldn't. Well, they could. They weather every mistake because it's who they are. But it would be another really embarrassing, just another show of ineptitude and competence that they just don't need, rolling into the
Yeah.
2026 season.
Yeah. So I think those are the two those are the two people who kind of talking around that seems to be like a consensus are those two. And the Pirates right now, especially once Devaney's taken off the roster, that's going to take the 40 man to 38. So like they have they're not there's nothing that needs to be done to add those two names to the rule to the 40 man roster. Now, if you want to add more than that, you're going to have to drop some players, which there are, if you look at this Pirates roster, like you can find some guys to drop.
There's some spots available. You can,
Yeah,
you can clear that out.
yeah. But I think after those two very obvious ones, I think for me at least, Doug, the next one is Antoine Kelly. Um, had an absolute breakout season. Got a midseason promotion to Altoona. Starter, nasty stuff. Like the fastball became really like elite this year. It's got decent secondary stuff. And because the stuff is so good and the control was so good, he's certainly another guy where a team, even though he's maybe not ready to start in the majors, like Antoine Kelly could probably be thrown into a major league bullpen right now, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
be and be pretty good. So like I feel like if you have Kelly exposed, he's one of those prime candidates to be taken. And long term, a guy who you'd love to see start if he's able to. Rule 5 draft's an easy way to get someone like that into your rotation because there aren't guys who can have the length that he does, and then also the stuff that he does. He'd be a very attractive player in a
Oh
Rule
yeah,
5
yeah. I mean,
draft,
I
I
think
think.
he goes off the board quickly. Again, he's an easy player to roster. You might not want to start him, but you can definitely use him in the bullpen, even if it's in sort of mop up situations. But I bet you could probably, start him out, pitch him in again now. Like bullpen comes into effect in the second inning, third inning, fourth inning now. So like there would be all sorts of ways to have him come in, throw some gas. You'd be able to sort of protect him and develop him, that sort of thing. But yeah, he is not going to be wasting a roster space. This is not like putting Valdez on there and you have to really pick your spots to get him in. This is a guy that can come in and contribute, and possibly be an effective part of the bullpen. I mean, he's and knowing that moving forward, you can stretch him back out to being a starter. Yeah, they've got to protect him.
Yeah. I think there's a pretty wide consensus on Kelly, looking around and getting the feedback that I did. Yeah, just not a guy who I'd want to risk losing at this point. He's a pretty valuable. He's a valuable asset, even if you want to use him as like a trade chip or something down the road. Like he's someone who's got quite a bit of value to this organization, and I can't imagine them not keeping him.
Yeah, there's too many options with him. Like, he could be, when we talk about trading Mitch Keller, that you might have to add somebody. Like maybe you add somebody like him, right? To get a better, impact bat or something. But you can't give him away for, I think, what you get $50,000 now if they select someone off your, it's like it. You can't lose him for $50,000.
No.
He looks too good. And I wouldn't be surprised. The Pirates protect him. I would not be surprised that if we saw him in Pittsburgh this year, right? It takes 25 relievers throughout the season. You can see him coming up and getting some play. So,
yeah, I could see that happening. Then lastly, this is the one I think that probably the most on the fence about, but I'd still protect him for similar reasons. Ethan's also coming in here with it's 100K.
Yeah,
so
inflation, it's getting us all.
But the fourth person is, and this is what I would do, right? The highlighted names on this list. So if you're in the comments, if you're watching, like give me the guys that you would add here. But I'm also adding Wilbur Dotel. I think Wilbur Dotel is someone who, like, if you left him exposed, there's like a 50-50 shot he gets taken. The stuff is really good. You could put him in a bullpen right now and then save him, down the road. I think right now, though, he just took too big of a step forward with his stuff that I would not want to leave him exposed. He's a depth starting pitcher piece. Like if you're looking if you're doing a depth chart of this team right now, like Wilbur Dotel is probably a top 10 starter for you right now in the organization. So like, is that somebody that you want to lose? Is it somebody who, like, if starting doesn't pan out, he looks like he's definitely going to be like a back end reliever type guy. So I'm also protecting Wilbur Dotel. Because again, just the profile seems like another guy who would get lost if left exposed.
Yeah, I agree. And it comes down to, are you willing to lose Wilbur Dotel to keep, say, Jack Sawinski on the roster again? Right. I mean, that's the thing. It's not like we've got these really tough, oh my, who do we protect? We're just gonna have to let somebody fantastic go. No, that's not what's happening here. There's some guys they can trim. I mean, isn't Johan Ramirez? Excuse me, Johan Ramirez is on the 40-man roster. Like, you could DFA him and more than likely sign him right back because he'd go unclaimed. That sort of thing. It would make no sense to lose this guy, right? This team's strength is its pitching, and you want to keep it coming in the pipeline, and guys are going to move on, and it'd be nice to have somebody with this kind of stuff, this kind of ability. He was durable last year. He threw a lot of innings. He's got great stuff. He took a step forward. A smart team would take him, and you would lose him for $100,000 for the sake of protecting somebody that is not really going to contribute next year.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the roster, and you mentioned one like Johan Ramirez. He's probably someone who can be taken off if you need to. Cam Sanders is there. as far as the pitching staff, there's not too much dead weight, that I see, but like those two are certainly guys that you could afford to remove from that roster. But you look at the position players, and I mean, Will Robertson, Jack Sawinski, Billy Cook, Alexander Canario, Ronnie Simon, Cam Devaney, Sung Chae Chang, like there you go up and down the list of position players, and and obviously you're gonna have to replace these guys because you need 26 men to break camp with. But there's a lot of options right now where in this situation, at least for me, I'm adding 4 guys, and we can talk about some other guys if we want to, but those are the 4 that I'm adding. And with the way the 40 man sits right now, that means you need to remove 2 other people. I didn't even talk about Holderman either. Holderman's another one too. So
Yeah.
like you've got the options. You've got the options.
Right. If any
So
of those guys that
there shouldn't be an issue.
you just mentioned were on the right, I'm not going to be outraged if they try to revive Holderman. But if we lose one of those guys, to save one of the, it's that's the difference. Like, if in the end they hear we DFA him and that we re-sign him or whatever, that's fine. I'm not gonna,
Mhm.
like you said, you got to fill out the whole roster. But you don't want to lose any of these guys. They're I mean, again, it's the one thing that Ben Cherington is doing well is drafting and developing pitching, and to just to lose it to save a marginal at best major leaguer makes zero sense.
Yeah. Now, on top of this, Doug, so those are the 4 that I'm keeping. Do you have any additional ones?
Yeah, no, that's it. I don't really see a legitimate case for anybody else. Like I don't see, Jack Brannigan's interesting, but he's been injured. I don't see somebody taking somebody like that. A good defensive player, lots of strikeouts, and lots of injury issues. I don't see a
Mhm.
team trying to roster him for an entire season. Yeah, it doesn't really look. Again, it's like Valdez and Dotel are even, they're kind of borderline. You don't necessarily, well, I mean, Valdez, I'm not sure anyone would take him, but like Dotel, there's a very good chance that that's who gets picked in the Rule 5 draft. It's
Mhm.
pitchers, it might be a single A pitcher, but he can hit 100. Every team in the league think they can help a guy harness his velocity, right? They don't they see velocity and they're like, yeah, we can make this work. And the way that teams use their roster and use their 40 man now, and use their major league roster, a guy like that could make you put him on the injured reserve or injured list for a month. You you use them in blowouts. It's easy to do. So I would hate to lose any of those pitchers, to save Canario or Billy Cook, or people that the Pirates show that they don't believe in. It's not that I
Yeah.
don't believe in Billy Cook. The Pirates have, Ben Cherington has shown that since he's acquired Billy Cook, that he doesn't have any real faith in him. So, why would you allow someone to slip away to protect Billy Cook?
Yep. I'll say this, there's a few guys who, I wouldn't add them, but they at least made me like dig in a little bit. Omar Alfonso is one of them. He's been eligible the last 2 Rule 5 drafts. The difference there is like he was so young and so far away from the majors. Like you didn't really have to think about adding him. But I mean, Omar Alfonso, Pipeline's got him as the number 19 prospect in the organization. He's a catcher. He did make double A. And it's not like he crushed the ball at double A, but he did at least like hold his own a little bit, struck out a lot, but got on base at least an okay clip. But I don't know. He was one guy I would at least like look at and consider, but I don't think he's someone who ultimately gets picked. And if he does get picked, then it's like, you know what, Omar, good for you.
Yeah.
I don't think he's close enough right now to add for me. So that was one name that I looked at. Another one that at least like interesting enough to look at, Jack Brannigan, again, number 21 prospect. Similar thing where went to Double A, held his own, but he lost kind of the power. Like the power wasn't there. He got hurt, missed the whole second half of the season. He's going to be 25 next year. Like, I think he's one of those guys where, like, he's sort of looking like his ceiling is going to be like a Jared Triolo type guy. And so I don't see a team being like, hey, give me Double A Jared Triolo right now
Right.
to make sure I keep on my roster for 6 months. I feel like he's a guy you left. I think he's a guy like you could wait one more year before making that decision.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if someone
Mhm.
selects Jack Brannigan this year, like I don't think any one of us expects that we're going to be like, "Oh man, look what he's doing for the Royals." It's probably again, he's
Yeah.
hard to roster for this season at this point in his career and his development. Um, uh, Omar Alfonso, he's a catcher. Teams view catching much differently now than they have in the past. They don't really expect a lot of offense. So if they think he can develop a defensive catcher, carry him as a third catcher type thing. It's again, it's a challenging guy to keep rostered for the entire season.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and I mean, again, it's hard to see. The Pirates don't have any catchers, but we also have four. So, it's like it's going to be hard to get him in there. So, um, I, I don't want to lose him, but I don't think it's prudent to protect him. My question
Yeah.
is, do you think the Pirates are going to choose anybody in the Rule 5 draft?
So that's the other thing too. You've got 40. If we're adding 4 players, means you got to drop 2, and that gets you 240. But yeah, do you want to make sure that you've got an open spot in case you want to take somebody? I think it's one of those things where like it's hard to answer that question until you know what's available when you're
True.
picking. Like I
Yeah, it's a
don't
better
think it's
conversation for tomorrow when we
yeah.
know who's.
Like I don't think it makes sense to just pick a Rule 5 draft pick just to pick one. Like if you're going to pick one, have it be someone who like makes sense for you and what you're trying to do. Like the Pirates are in a position right now where they can't just go out there and hide like a player who's not ready, I think, for a year, because like you do need to win next year. Like they're
Right,
not in a I don't think they're in a position where they can add like if you remember, a while back, like Donnie Veal, I think
right,
was his name, where they added him and he just never pitched like ever.
right.
You can't really waste a spot in the bullpen for somebody like that this year.
No,
So I think
yeah.
it's just, yeah, who's available? Is there anybody who makes sense when it comes to be your turn?
Right. Yeah, we
Um,
need all hands on deck, right? Every single person is on this 26-man roster is going to need to contribute, right? We can't, we don't have the luxury of, playing, a guy, on Sunday only and, not even pitching him in blowouts, just like I said, hiding him on the injured list,
yeah.
that sort of thing. So, yeah, if somebody, right, if there's somebody great and you have an opportunity to get someone that can contribute, and there's always that possibility. I mean, there might be some great lefty, reliever. The Pirates can always use a lefty reliever. There might be some kind of a bad. It seems unlikely. It doesn't really happen that often that someone comes through. There have been obviously, Roberto Clemente was one of the first. It wasn't called the Rule 5 draft then, but George Bell with Toronto was one that had a really, really good career, was a dynamic offensive player. And there have been some others, but it doesn't happen that much. And we're the Pirates. We can't have nice things. It doesn't happen to us. Like I said, Donnie Villa, Freddie Garcia, I remember as a third baseman, kind of outfielder that, they didn't play much. He kept them the whole year, then put him in the minors next year. He never really did anything. So, and that's when we were terrible, right? Now we're trying to win. And we, again, contributions from everybody.
Yeah. So I think it's just day of seeing who's available. I'm not opposed to taking somebody, but I also wouldn't take somebody just to take somebody. All right. Anybody else on that list that you wanted to touch on as maybe a potential? Anthony
No,
Solometo was another like big name that's
right.
available, but he hasn't been healthy. He hasn't pitched much past double A, I mean, past high A, and hasn't really looked all that great doing so.
Hasn't
So,
looked that good. He started out his career looking really good.
mhm.
Was sort of ahead of Bubba. They were in the same draft. He was, part of that collection of guys by, getting Henry to sign under slot, Brendan Bishop, who was the Lonnie
Lonnie White Juniors, yeah,
Lonnie White Jr. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Everyone
So
from that draft is available now.
yeah.
So yeah, um, yeah. So that's those are my four. I'm going Brandon Bidwa, Esmeralda Valdez, Antoine Kelly, Wilbur Dotel.
Well, I have more faith in you than Ben Charrington. So, but that's what he should do. I hope he's watching. That makes perfect sense. Those you don't want to lose any of those guys. It's possible that you could. Likely, I think, in the case of Antoine Kelly, and probably like I said, Wilbur Patel might be 50-50, but it'd be hard to pass him up. So I think he could lose both of those. The Pirates can't afford to lose that kind of talent. They can't afford to take that kind of just egg on their face. Oh gosh, we bumbled our way through this one again.
Mhm.
Do you remember the year that Littlefield just, I don't know, left everybody exposed, and we lost Jose, we lost like four like four guys. Jose Bautista was one of them, and
I think
um,
that was 2006 or 4, 2004, 5 or 6. Yeah. I mean, we lost like 4 or 5 players.
yeah.
It
And
was
we,
rough.
yeah, it was, and that, I mean, it wasn't one of those in hindsight, oh, look at this guy did well kind of thing. It was, immediately everybody was saying, what were they doing? Does Dave Littlefield understand how this works? It was just embarrassing. And that was before all of this, social media and all these ways for all of us to come and show our outrage. So not
Yeah.
that the Pirates um, consider our outrage too often. But again, they need to avoid some of this kind of nonsense. They need to, they need to have a good off season, even if it's their version of a good off season. Would it be great if we could have an emergency podcast and actually be, hey, this guy might be able to play instead of talking about Tommy Pham or some of
Yeah.
the others. So it could be a way let's just have a nice positive off season for a change. Let's not make any glaring blunders.
No, yeah. Let's not pick suspended players in the minor league
Right.
portion. Let's not.
Right.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
2003, by the way, where
Okay.
5 of the first 6 picks in the Rule 5 draft came from the Pirates organization. So it's like, yeah, did you just like forget to fill out some paperwork or something? Like,
Right. Right. Did you miss the
it's
deadline? You oversleep? What happened? Right.
yeah, yeah. Let's not do that anymore. Um, all right, moving on. Final topic. We'll spend a little bit of time on this, and then we'll kind of get going. But the Pirates made some coaching staff moves this weekend as well, um, hiring Kristopher Negron as the bench coach and Tony Beasley as the third base coach. Let's start with Beasley just because we know a little bit about him, right? He
Right.
was with the Pirates for a pretty long time.
I think
He was
12 years. Yeah.
yeah, he was in the farm system from 2001 to 2005. He then went to the Washington Nationals for a few years, but then came back and was the third base coach for the Pirates on John Russell's staff. So he was there for a few years there, and then once Russell lost his job, he went back to the Nationals, and then he joined Jeff Bannister's staff in Texas. Back when the Rangers hired him. So he's been with the Rain. He was with the Rangers for quite some time. Even served as an interim manager for a while for them. But Tony Beasley, fan base knows him, quite well. We've seen Tony Beasley in a Pirates uniform, being a base coach before. So all I know is that I don't think I've remember anyone disliking Tony Beasley or saying bad things about Tony Beasley. Yeah, I mean,
John Parado, who definitely has his finger on the pulse of the pirate baseball and the organization, recently
mhm,
said he's one of the best people, best baseball people he's ever known, and he's a really good guy. That he was excited that he was coming back. Um, I certainly defer to John Parado on this. He was recently a guest of ours on the point, and
he was.
he has been covering Pittsburgh sports for an awfully long time. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've had an issue at third base coach for a while. I mean, all Pirate mistakes get magnified. This probably happens with other teams too, but man, do we get guys get thrown out, at home a lot, and have them going on. And so we're all up for some improvement at third base. I don't know if Tony Beasley will be able to do that or not, but he seems like the classic baseball man. He's connected to the Pirates organization. Jeff Bannister, a longtime Pirate organization guy when he got his opportunity. So, I imagine he and Donnie Kelly probably chatted up a little. So, yeah, I mean, how much a difference can one base coach make? I mean, maybe a lot over the course of the season, save you a couple runs, but
Yeah,
yeah, certainly no complaints, and welcome him back.
yeah. So Beasley is back. And then on top of that, Kristopher Negron, the bench coach, and just kind of reading about him, he kind of strikes me a lot like Don Kelly. He was in the majors. He played every single position but catcher, like one of those just like super utility guys. You could plug him anywhere. Played a pretty long time. Like he was never a regular, but played in the majors for quite a period. He played parts of 6 different seasons in the majors, accumulated 416 plate appearances, and yeah, kind of did just a little bit of everything. After his playing days were over, you know, he um he served with the Mariners as an assistant director of player development. Then he became like a minor league manager. Then he's been, I think, the Mariners' first base coach for a while. So, kind of coming over now, getting the bench coach position. Just yeah, kind of seems like someone who's with the Mariners. He's been with the Mariners for a while now. And so
Did he
you
play for Detroit? Like, I think him and Donnie maybe. uh, I mean, I can't imagine
uh,
having both of them in the roster at the same time, so maybe that
He
doesn't make
never played
sense.
in Detroit, so he played
Okay,
in Cincinnati,
okay,
Seattle, Arizona, and then for the Dodgers.
all
So
right.
he
So yeah, I
played.
was wondering if maybe he'd cross paths with Donnie, and um, hey, Donnie gets to pick
Mhm.
his coaching staff. That's nice. I like that. They give him a little autonomy there.
Yep.
Um, Again, he looks like he's been a great baseball guy. He's the kind of player that managers liked having, even though they didn't have great talent. He's put the work in. Good for him.
Yeah. Younger guy too. He's 39 years old. I mean, he was playing Major League Baseball in 2019, so he's not too far removed from
Yeah.
being a player. Yeah. So I mean, the bench coach is sort of responsible for like all you know the other stuff. Kind of all the managers overseeing things. So um, yeah, we'll see how he does. It looks like he's been a minor league manager before. So been a base coach, so he has a lot of experience doing a lot of things, um, which yeah, maybe makes for a good bench coach. I guess we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
I'm not gonna like dissect the bench coach decision
Yeah,
in
I mean,
November too heavily.
right. I mean, again, when
Yeah,
was the last time that we discussed a bench coach decision during the season? Like, what did I don't know. The only thing maybe
yeah,
Donnie gets thrown out, which seems like may happen more than it happened with Derek
mhm.
Shelton. So he'll step up, and he might have to make some bullpen moves at some point. But yeah, it's hard to judge their impact. But if the Pirates and Donnie are happy with them, let's go.
Let's do it. So again, that's probably gonna wrap it up for us. Listen, the biggest thing for this week is tomorrow, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Rule 5. That's the deadline to add players to protect them from the Rule 5 draft. So expect some roster moves. You probably won't really see them today, but Tuesday, I would imagine, is when you start seeing all that stuff. Outside that, NS9 Live coming up on Wednesday. We should have another episode of The Point coming this Friday. So that'll be our second episode of The Point this off season. But yeah, that's all I got for you this morning, Doug.
One more thing, you should watch Bridge to Bucktober's show from last night. Jim was on that show. They had a really, really fun conversation. They changed up the divisions, they realigned, they added expansion teams, they changed playoff formats. It was a lot of fun. Jim got it wrong on which two teams should be added expansion, but he had some really good points otherwise. I hope they go to Austin, Jim, because my son lives in Austin, and
I was going to say, that's good for you.
Yeah, it'd be great. So no, it really was. It was really it was a sort of standout, different podcast than a lot of the same stuff we talk about. The guys were terrific. Jake and Josh and Jim did a fun job. Well worth a listen to. So. And you've got until we do NSN Live, unless, maybe there'll be an emergency podcast this week. Who knows? Maybe the Pirates will do something bold and exciting.
Probably not.
Anyways, that's the FanDuel smart money bet of the day. Right?
I was gonna say, like I said, if this was an option on FanDuel to see like future transactions, that they need to add the futures bets there. But no, that'll do it for us though. So I appreciate you filling in for Donardo though, Doug.
Yeah, I'm glad to help. It's early, but it gets me out of bed. I'm too lazy as it is. So, and I'm always happy to talk Pirate baseball, and I'm always happy to engage with our chat. So,
good stuff. Good stuff. Everybody watching live, you guys are the best. If you're watching or listening after the fact, appreciate you guys. Like the video, subscribe to the page. If you're listening, leave a comment, leave a review, tell your friends about us. Yeah, so we've got stuff coming out multiple times a week throughout the off season, and now we're kind of getting into the meat and potatoes where you start to talk about some more fun stuff. Like stuff is happening. Josh Naylor was just signed last night, so like hopefully that means we're getting into some free agency moves. But
yeah, hopefully we need to do something.
Yeah, that'll do it though. I'm Jim. He's Doug. This was Bucco Brew. Appreciate you guys. We'll
Thanks,
talk to you
guys.
soon.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in, whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube. If you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.